May our Father, Messiah, and Holy Spirit be with us. Book of Obadiah, the prophecy of Obadiah. We have received tidings from our Father in heaven, and an envoy has been sent out among the nations. Up, let us rise up against her for battle. Thus said our Father in heaven, Elohim, concerning Edom, I will make you least among nations. You shall be most despised. Your arrogant heart has seduced you. You who dwell in the clefts of the rock, in your lofty abode. You think in your heart, who can pull me down to earth? Should you nest as high as the eagle? Should your eyrie be lodged among the stars? Even from there I will pull you down, declares our Father in heaven. If these were to come to you, marauders by night, they would steal no more than they needed. If vintagers came to you, they would surely leave some gleanings. How utterly you are destroyed, how thoroughly rifled is Esau, how ransacked his hordes. All your allies turned you back at the frontier. At the frontier, your own confederates have duped and overcome you. Those who ate your bread have planted snares under you. He is bereft of understanding in that day, declares our Father in heaven. I will make the wise vanish from Edom, understanding from Esau's mount. Your warriors shall lose heart, O Taman, and not a man on Esau's mount shall survive the slaughter. For the outrage to your brother Jacob, disgrace shall engulf you, and you shall perish forever. On that day when you stood aloof, when aliens carried off his goods, when foreigners entered his gates and cast lots for Jerusalem, you were as one of them. How could you gaze with glee on your brother that day, on his day of calamity? How could you gloat over the people of Jehudah on that day of ruin? How could you loudly jeer on a day of anguish? How could you enter the gate of my people on his day of disaster? Gaze and glee with the others on his misfortune, on his day of disaster, and lay hands on his wealth. On his day of disaster, how could you stand at the passes to cut down his fugitives? How could you betray those who fled? On that day of anguish, as you did, so shall it be done to you. Your conduct shall be requited, yea, against all nations. The day of our Father in heaven is at hand. That same cup that you drink on my holy mount shall all nations drink evermore. Drink till their speech grows thick, and they become as though they had never been. But on Zion's mount a remnant shall survive, and it shall be holy. The house of Jacob shall dispossess. Those who dispossess them, the house of Jacob shall be fire, and the house of Joseph flame, and the house of Esau shall be straw. They shall burn it and devour it, and those devourers shall be left of the house of Esau. For our Father in heaven has spoken. Thus they shall possess the Negev and Mount Esau as well. Thus Shephelah and Philistia, they shall possess the Ephraimite country and the district of Samaria, and Benjamin along with Gilead, and that exiled force of the Israelites shall possess what belongs to the Phoenicians as far as Zarephath, while the Jerusalemite exiled community of Sepharad shall possess the towns of the Negev, for liberators shall march up on Mount Zion to wreak judgment. On Mount Esau and dominion shall be our Father in heaven.